This is now the fastest rogue leveling build in the game, even after Blizzard nerfed it. This build will take you through the early game, the campaign bosses, as well as leveling you up really fast by clearing mobs very quickly. If you've been following the channel, you've already seen this build clear lots of high-end dungeons on the hardest difficulty. You're going to want to use this build to level up between level 1 and level 50. Then once you reach level 50, it actually becomes more efficient to swap over to my other endgame rogue build. That other build uses Poison Trap, but until then, Poison Trap is actually rather clunky and just slows down our leveling speed. Before I go over the level by level skill guide, let me summarize how the build actually plays. This build uses the ranged attack puncture to gain energy back and make the enemies vulnerable. You can then spam Twisting Blades, especially on larger targets, which sticks knives into the enemies. These knives then return to you after a few seconds and spin around you for further AoE damage by using the aspect that I'll be showing you how to get later on in the video. After using Twisting Blades, you then use either dash or shadow step to jump through a group of enemies so that when the Twisting Blades return to you, they go through the entire group of enemies, killing them all. We also use the Shadow Imbuement skill for a couple of specific reasons. Firstly, when you dash through the enemies, they'll be infected by the shadow. Then when your Twisting Blades kill them, they'll explode for even more AoE damage. This actually causes a chain reaction of all the trash mobs exploding and immediately getting wiped out. It's pretty satisfying to see, actually. We're also using this along with the Consuming Shadow and Inner Sight. This gives you unlimited energy, which is why this build is so good for leveling, because you can just carry on spamming all of your abilities and killing everything without having to wait for the regeneration of energy. We're also going to be using Dark Shroud for massive damage mitigation, making this build very survivable. This could be replaced with another skill for more damage, but I'd rather never die. Next, I'm going to be going over the skills level by level, and then most importantly, I'll be going over the one legendary weapon effect you need to make this build just hit like a truck. You get it from doing one dungeon, which you'll find near Act 2, and it will take you like 10 minutes to do. So this is the build skill order. Start out by getting Puncture, then Enhanced Puncture, and now we've unlocked the Twisting Blade skill. So we're going to go ahead and get that. Then we're going to get Enhanced Twisting Blades, and then Advanced Twisting Blades. Feel free to read everything, but I've already optimized it for you, so you don't actually need to understand how it works, but I would advise you to read things, figure it out for yourself as well. Now we're going to go back and get Fundamental Puncture. We have now unlocked the next skill tree. So we're going to go and get Dash for the rapid movement ability. Then we're going to get Shadow Step next, which must be used on a target, and then you just jump to that target and backstab them. Next, we're going to go back and max out Twisting Blades. Also, if you find any gear that gives you buffs on Twisting Blades, you should keep that to increase your damage beyond the cap. After we max that out, we're going to go and get Dark Shroud for survivability. As long as this skill's up, you are very, very survivable. Next, we're going to go back and we're going to grab Enhanced Dash. Then we're going to get Discipline Dash, which slows and then dazes enemies that you dash through. Now, once you reach level 15, this is very important because you'll now get the Rogue Specialization quest. This quest is automatically added to the priority quest section in your journal just here on the right. It will be called True Potential. I don't have it here because I've already done it, but it will appear once you get to level 15. You just need to click on it. It will show you where to go on the map. You just do that quest. And once you've done it, you'll then unlock access to your Class Specialization tab, which is just here. Now you'll be able to select the Inner Sight Specialization. This gives you unlimited energy for 4 seconds if you attack the marked target and fill up your meter. This really allows you to just delete bosses by stacking Twisting Blades on them. But now at level 16, we can get Enhanced Shadow Step. And finally, we've unlocked the Shadow Imbuement skill. And at this point, you'll start to see how much AoE damage you can really do with this build. We're also going to get Enhanced Shadow Imbuement, and then Mixed Shadow Imbuement. Next, and this is really, really important, we're going to get Shadow Crash. And most importantly, the Consuming Shadow, which gives you 10 energy for each kill. And if we max this out, which we're going to do next, you'll get 30 energy for every single kill. So now you'll start to feel the effects of having unlimited energy. You're going to want to max this out as soon as possible. Next, we're going to come back to the Dark Shroud skill and we're going to get Enhanced Dark Shroud. And then we're going to get Countering Dark Shroud for an even higher critical strike chance. And then we'll come and max out Precision Imbuement right here, which gives us even more critical damage. So max that out. Then we're going to go all the way back and we're going to max out Sturdy for even more survivability. This gives you a flat percentage reduction to the damage received. So put 3 points in that. And then we're going to get Siphoning Strikes, which actually heals you as you do damage. And now we've unlocked the Momentum Ultimate at the very bottom of the skill tree. This buffs us with each stack of momentum that we have. And you'll be fully stacked with momentum most of the time when you're using this build. Pretty much gives you perma survivability and damage buffs. Next, we're going to go back and we're going to max out Siphoning Strikes. And once we've done that, we can then come back and max out Shadow Imbuement. So it's 5 out of 5. And now we're going to put a point into Adrenaline Rush to get to Haste. And we're going to put all 3 points into Haste for additional movement speed and attack speed. Next, we can max out Innovation for our lucky hit chance increase. Put all 3 points into that. And finally, we'll come back and we'll max out Weapon Mastery. This could be done earlier if you want to prioritize damage though. Put another 3 points into that. And now you're going to be level 50 and there are other places in the game you can get skill points and you can continue to max out your character. I would also encourage you to experiment. But next, we're going to be talking about equipment. The most important thing for this build is obtaining this legendary aspect for Twisting Blades. This will make it so that when you use Twisting Blades and it returns to you, it will now continue to spin around your character for even more damage. We can actually get this very early on in the Act 2 area just here on the map. Right now I'm in Kyovashad, just here on the map. If you carry on going northeast through this little gap in the canyon just here, into the Highland Wild Zones just here, at the top right of the map you'll find this dungeon called Jalal's Vigil. You can see the Tiramar fast travel point just here and the dungeon is on the top right of the map over here. It's called Jalal's Vigil. And as you can see, you get the Bladed Aspect reward when you complete it. So just go to that dungeon, kill the boss, then you'll be rewarded with the Blade Dancer's aspect. And this aspect is now saved in our Codex of Power. We can imprint it onto any weapon we like. So I'm going to show you how to do that next. Now, in order to imprint your weapon with the aspect, what you need to do is come over here to any town, any major town in the game. And then you want to come to this little triangle with 3 circles around it to visit the Occultist. Once you arrive, you're going to want to talk to him, and you specifically want to be putting this onto your ranged weapon, and then you're just going to leave it there for the entire leveling process, just for the legendary effect. You're never going to use your ranged weapon, so it doesn't matter. It's just there to give you the legendary effect. And to do this, we're going to go ahead and put the item over here into the item slots. Then we're going to click on the Codex of Power, and we're going to find the Blade Dancer's aspect that we just unlocked for Twisting Blades. And now it's going to imprint that aspect onto the bow that we're using, as you can see. This is going to cost us 24 Veiled Crystals and 4 Baleful Fragments. Now, this actually increases as you level up. So if you do this early on, it's going to be a lot cheaper and easier to do. You get Baleful Fragments from salvaging legendary items, and you get Veiled Crystals from salvaging rare weapons, which are really, really easy to get. So we're going to imprint this and say accept. And now our character will permanently have this Twisting Blades buff, which massively increases our damage. And that's the only thing this build really needs. But if you want to push the damage further, look out for gear that gives you plus ranks to Twisting Blades. And while you're leveling, you'll also want to be putting red gems into your armor for health, emeralds into your weapons for extra critical damage to vulnerable enemies, and skulls into your jewelry for more armor. Nothing else matters. You'll be able to delete any dungeon boss in the game with this build, but once you get to level 50, I'll have another guide waiting for you that you can use from level 50 to 100, and that will also include your Paragon allocation as well. But until then, if you want to know the best leveling locations to level up your rogue quickly, I'll leave my other guide just here for you to check out, and I'll see you there.